Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your good friend Eric Thompson. This is the Ninja Selling Podcast. Thank you as always for listening, for engaging. We so appreciate it. I have two amazing guests with me today. Before I introduce them, I want to share this. Guys, here's the deal. If you want to know how to build a community of raving fan clients, you are in exactly the right place. You're going to hear how to do that. And with that being said, I'd like now to introduce our first guest. It is Jon Zickert. He is a ninja extraordinaire from Michigan. Jon, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Hi, Eric. I'm happy to be here. Long-time listener, first-time podcaster. So I'm excited to be here and look forward to the time.
That's great. We are excited too. We're honored that you're here. Super, super thankful. Our next guest is someone that you have heard before. You've met her before. Please welcome back. It's Tracy Peterson-Nienaber. She is a certified leadership coach with us here at Ninja Coaching. Tracy, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Eric and Jon. I'm so excited to be on the podcast with you all. And I live in the Bay Area in California, and Jon is my coaching client, and I'm super excited for you all to meet him and hear his story.
Yes. This is going to be great to get takeaways from Jon, get insights from Tracy. Obviously, Jon is working with Tracy. Jon, we appreciate you being a Ninja Coaching client. Super, super grateful about
You're
that.
welcome.
Absolutely. Okay, Tracy, you have been encouraging us to have Jon on the podcast for a while. You have said many times, Eric, hey, we got to get Jon on the podcast. He has some amazing things to share. So finally, I guess I wisened up to this. And Tracy, we are really, really happy knowing what's coming. We're really happy that you encouraged this. So tell us why you wanted to have Jon on the podcast.
Well, there's a lot of different reasons why I want to have Jon on the podcast. And I wanted to have him, like you said, Eric, for a really long time. And a couple of reasons why I wanted to have him on is that Jon runs an incredible, successful business in Michigan. And I want you all to hear from him, those numbers, what he's doing, and also his team numbers. But what he does is he creates this absolute fantastic vibe within his group and within his team. But he also has this really neat thing, which we're going to dive into today. It's the Z, because his last name starts with the Z crew. And,
pretty clever, huh?
It's pretty clever. And so I really wanted you to hear the vibe of Jon, hear about the Z crew, and also just Jon is such a super positive person, and he is a major powerhouse. So I know the Ninja Nation is going to get so many takeaways from Jon.
That sounds great to me. And I'm guessing that sounds great to everyone. Hey, we can always use positivity. I think maybe we can especially use some positivity right now. So Jon, again, we're grateful. Before we dive into the specific things that you're doing, Jon, in your team with the Z crew, let's just paint the picture, give our listeners some background, some context. Tell us where you are, the company you're with. Tell us about your team. Give us an idea of the number of clients that you're helping. You know, it matters who says it, right? So paint the picture for us with that, please, Jon.
Sure. I live in Paradise in northern Michigan in a small town called Beulah, Michigan. We have a big lake called Crystal Lake that is Caribbean blue, where a client from Texas once asked me if that was saltwater or freshwater.
Really?
Because it looks like you're down in the Caribbean. So it's just a lot of second home market, but I've been in real estate for 12 years. Prior to that, hospitality business. So it's kind of a similar field, just a different venue. Yeah, I attended my first Ninja installation in December of 22. And Chandra Hall was my instructor and set me off on the right foot. I kind of had some sprinkling of Ninja throughout my training, but I've heard about it, always thought about doing it. And finally, after 10 years, I said, let's go. I need to get this underway. And we haven't looked back. So my team and I, we're about 1.5 to 2 hours southwest of Traverse City, Michigan. That's kind of the biggest city up by us, Cherry Festival and all that. So in 23, I started working with Tracy and my team. I have two realtors, Alicia Childers and Raquel Huddleston, who are just buyer specialists. And then Hayden Bretsky on my team. He's a buyer's and seller's agent. And then Joan does all our marketing. And my wife, Karen, she does our coordinating, our merchandising and kind of client gifts. So we have a fun team together. And, in 23, the team served 130 clients at about a volume of 40 million, which I know to some sounds a lot. To others, it may not sound a lot. But when you look at our average sale price, over the last 12 years is about 256,000. It's the people that we have to help out to get to those levels. And then, I think as a result of applying the Ninja system, we finished 24 serving 120 clients, but our volume went up 38% to 55.5 million. So I attribute a lot of that to the Ninja system and Tracy, my awesome coach.
That's fantastic. That's really, really impressive. Super impressive numbers. And hey, that volume in any market is impressive. And then to see that you're doing well over 100 transactions a year, helping well over 100 people a year is fantastic. When did you add people to the team? So you're 12 years in the business.
Good question.
Some people may be curious about that because we come across a lot of people who become curious about adding people to their team, building a team. At what point in the journey in the 12 years did you decide to add people to the team?
Yeah. So starting back in 2013, it was just me and I could handle the volume. And then I had an administrative assistant who left to go back to social work. So my friend Alicia, who's now a licensed realtor on my team, said, hey, let me help you out doing a little bit of administrative work. But then she got her license. She started in 2016. And then Raquel came on the board 2 years later in 18. And then Hayden approached us fresh out of finance college in central Michigan area. And he started in 2020. And then my wife's always been around, involved in the business in different ways. And then Joan's a friend from the hospitality world, and she joined me just the beginning of this year.
Got it. Okay.
So kind of a couple of years increments where they just came on and we just kind of developed the team from there. Yeah,
just building it little by little, step by step, and building it up to an incredible place where you're helping all kinds of people. It's terrific.
It's been fun, yeah.
So can we change gears for a minute, gentlemen? And that I'd love to chat and Jon, kind of explain or tell us a little bit about like the collaboration mindset with your team and also how you start each of your team meetings. And like, do you do team meetings weekly? Tell us a little bit about what that looks and feels like.
Yeah, we do a weekly team meeting. We try to keep it within an hour, but sometimes it goes to an hour and a half. There's so much good stuff to talk about. But it's just 4 or 5 of us, depending who can make it. But we started off each meeting with sharing one gratitude. I mean, that's the foundation of the mindset part of Ninja. But it was kind of awkward at first because they were stressed about having to come up with a gratitude for the day. And now they find themselves driving to the meeting thinking about, should I share A or should I share B? And we're actually getting a much deeper understanding of each other's personal lives, because sometimes we don't talk about that stuff in the day-to-day business world. It's been really just enjoyable that part of the meeting I look forward to the best is hearing about what's going on and what are they thankful for. And it kind of just starts that meeting out on that great mindset, like you do your day when you do your gratitudes, right?
Awesome.
And
That's
then,
amazing.
to kind of keep the Ninja flow going, the weekly Ninja tip that comes out on Monday, we just play that on the screen at the meeting and kind of discuss that for a bit. And then, it kind of, the whole process of our meeting is anything we do with our business, we ask ourselves one question, and it's how will it provide value to the recipient, whoever it's going to, whether it's our flow postcards, whether it's an email, it's got to have some value or we're not doing it. We're not just throwing out 2 postcards a month to check a box for Tracy, right? And she gets my postcards too, right, Tracy? So
I do. I love your postcards, Jon. For a while, it was one of your postcards was one of my mouse pads for a while because I was like, this is such a good postcard. I was like, I need to be sharing this with everybody.
So it's been that value part of it that we it keeps us focused during our meeting when we think about, different things we're going to do to increase our process or improve our process. It's always about, okay, who's going to what kind of value is it gonna put out and produce?
Hey, Jon, if it's okay, I want to ask you a quick question about this team meeting, because I love the idea of you starting with gratitude. And we hear that, probably not often enough, but we hear that from other leaders like you, that's a really great way to start the meeting. How long did it take for your team to become accustomed to that, or for it to feel not awkward? You said initially that it was maybe a little bit awkward because it was new. I think that's normal, natural for it to maybe feel a little bit awkward. How long did that transition take?
That's a great question. I guess I didn't really track it, but if I had to say a couple months, maybe like a month or two, where now it's just kind of like, I think we all have fun. That's the best part of the meeting, to start off. And okay, what are you thankful for? And then it gets us a little more in depth of, tell me more about that. Where did you go on vacation, or that kind of stuff? So it didn't take long. And it's funny. I'm driving to work in the meeting, John, and I got to think about what I have to. Oh, and I was on vacation, and they texted us on the day of Tuesday meetings, and they each gave a gratitude.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It hit my heart.
Awesome.
And I'm like, man, I'm gone. And they're like bringing this still going through.
Jon, that is awesome. That's awesome.
I couldn't believe that, but it was so fun.
Jon, you said that didn't take long, but 2 months, I would imagine some people would give up before 2 months. They would say, they would be a month in and say, you know what, this is feeling awkward. I'm going to stop it. You stuck with it. And we coach our leadership clients. Tracy's a leadership coach. We coach our leadership clients to as a way to build engagement, get them even more on board with you, with the company, we need to ask forward questions of our own people. We talked about forwarding our clients, but we need to forward our own people. And what a great way for you to be very in tune, in touch with your people's forward by starting with gratitude. What an amazing and simple strategy I think Tracy and anyone could do, right?
Yeah, anyone could do this. Anyone could, and stick with it. Like you were just saying, Eric, that it's like some people would give up after 2 weeks or something. Like, don't give up. People do like this stuff. TSW, it works.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Because at first it was just kind of like, I'm thankful for my kids, or I'm thankful for this. And it's getting deeper, not deep, dark secrets deep, but it's like, the things they're thankful for are really meaningful now. And it's kind of fun to see it transpire that way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You're all connecting on that deeper level within your team, which is super, super cool.
And you're launching a week.
Check 5 boxes off on my Ford thing, because I Ford.
Right. Exactly.
I'm kidding. I don't do that, Tracy.
and there you are, Jon. You and your team, you're starting the week in a high positive mindset. I'm thinking it's no wonder you have the kind of numbers that you have. So what a great strategy.
I think a Ninja is the same way, but I just have my boss from Marriott early days: surround yourself with good people and good things are going to happen. So, I'm not afraid to hire people that have better skills than me in certain ways, and we all together just kind of complement each other. So
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, talking about surrounding yourself with great people, I would love, and we talked about this right in the beginning of this podcast, but Jon, I really, really, really would love for you to kind of walk our listeners through what this Z Crew is, how you started it, how it works, all of the nuts and bolts of it. Help us understand it, because it is a brilliant idea that you came up with.
Thanks. I left Ninja Installation in 2022, right? So I've been in the business since 2013, and have the privilege of having, as a team and individual, over 1,300 people we've helped, right? That are in our database, if you will. And I kind of freaked out. It's like I lost touch with a lot of these people. I'm not saying have a database of 1,300 people, but it's like, how can I regain that connection with them without feeling awkward? Like, oh, this is Jon. Remember me in 2013 when we sold your house on the lake? So the team and I just kind of started brainstorming, and we came up with a non-awkward, if that's even a word, way to reach out. So we kind of made them founding members of the Z Crew. So we sent out invitations. We came up with a logo and kind of kept it simple. Again, back in the back of our mind is, where's the value? Where's the value? What's the value? So we sent out invitations to almost all those clients, and we wanted to create a community where past clients, friends, or neighbors we can stay connected, feel part of the journey. It was kind of like, because you worked with us in the past, you're always part of our family and you're a founding member of this new crew. And then in 24 was our second year of the Z crew. So we kind of built the momentum of that, because now we have reasons to either send emails or postcards or text or personal phone calls to our clients, because we have 2 client events. And I know listening to your podcast, a lot of folks have client events. We just chose to have 2 a year. And most of my clients, because most of my job as the team leader is working with sellers, are gone. But my other team that works with buyers, they're still on the market, and second home buyers aren't up here full time. But we get about 50 or 60 clients to our events. And what it benefits us is we choose local venues. We've got the Ironfish Distillery in Thompsonville, Michigan, is this great local farm to distillery. We had an event there. We've got another St. Ambrose, which is like a meadery, and they have a big honey production there locally. So we had one at their event. We've got one at the local golf course with a local off the hook taco truck from Frankfurt that's going to cater it. So it's really been fun just reconnecting with those clients. And not one person said, "What are you doing? Why are you sending me this invite?" It was all a way to reconnect, and it's been great.
And what I definitely wanted, and I want you to explain more, but I want to make sure the people that are listening to this really make sure and you already said it, Jon, but make sure that we reiterate that you are in a second home vacation market and you're still doing this, and you're getting 50 to 60 people coming to your event.
Which is kind of good, because that's like the max of the places we're at sometimes. So we're like, what if they all came?
Yeah.
But good point. Yeah. That's at first I'm thinking, well, 20 or 30, but the last couple ones are 50 or 60, and they look forward to it every year. And maybe more importantly, isn't us trying to get 300 people to come out there, but it's the thought of us inviting them to be part of something different, and the ability for us to reach out to them just to say, and the talks, the phone calls I get, gosh, I know I get your invites every year, and we keep talking about coming up. It just happened yesterday on a call, but I can't make it, but we're going to try to come this year. So, I know I'm in front of mind of them, because they think about this event every year and they want to come up here. So I know it's for most people, it's been accomplishing what we want to, is just reach out to them again to make sure they know we're here for them. And a lot of it is not just business referral driven, but you need a plumber, you need an HVAC contractor, you need a roofer. That's where we come in too, and continue to provide that value to them in those ways too.
Jon, this is genius. It's so ninja. It's so fantastic. Here's a question I have. So someone is referred to you. It's a new relationship. How is the concept of the Z Crew introduced to them, to a brand new person who maybe hadn't heard of it before, doesn't really know what it is?
Well, what we typically do is, because the Z Crew was intended to be folks that we bought or sold with, but we have a lot, in flow with us. So anybody that we've done market analysis for, right? Or any buyer that my agents are currently working with. They're not officially part of the crew, but they get the invites. We explain to them what the concept is and say, hey, when we close, you're going to get your official invite. But until then, we're having a party at, Ironfish Distillery on July 15th. Come on over. So it's not maybe something we bring up immediately, but they're in flow with us once they start to meet us. So at least my folks that have done CMAs for and had that initial, listing presentation that might not be ready to sell, they're in flow with us right after that visit, and they're getting our email, they're getting our postcards, and not one person has ever said, "Take me off your list." Maybe one person said, "We know you, Jon. We know where you live. Take me off your list." But one of thousands is pretty okay for me, and it wasn't a bad comment. It was just kind of funny, and they were joking with me.
Yeah. Do you, Jon, do you use the Z Crew messaging and branding in all of your flow, or do you save it just for the invitations to these events?
Yeah, great question. Just for the invitations to the events, so 2 postcards a year will be a Z Crew postcard.
Okay.
And it goes out with the logo on it. But other than that, it's a card at closing that we give to them, like the invite, the official, hey, you're a member now. We've got some decals that we give them out once in a while. And one of my closing gifts for the teams, we get some customized Yeti mugs. And, that's part of that. And sometimes they'll put the sticker on there, but it's just more, I'm not big on posting the Z Crew events on our social media. I think that and people do, it's fine. Nothing wrong there. We just choose to that's the event we have. That's where we connect with our people, but we're not using it it's not a tool we use to get more business or make people want to call us. That's kind of a secret club, if you will, that we don't promote outside of the crew itself and those people that are working with us, but haven't bought or sold yet.
Got it. Okay. This is making sense.
It's exclusive. It's an exclusive club, which I think really there's something about that people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in this exclusive club. You're not posting on Facebook. You're not that. I think there is some value in that. And there is something really cool. People feel special.
Absolutely. So Jon, you have a bullet point list of the benefits of membership. And so why don't, and we've talked about these, but maybe just to break this down so everyone's super clear about how this works. When someone is a Z Crew member, what are those benefits of membership?
Yeah, because what's the value to them? So why do I want to be part of the Z Crew, right? That question came up during this planning process. First would be, you're going to get a closing gift anyway prior to Z Crew being established, but, we'll put people just love these Yeti mugs with our logo on them. And, it's just they can't stop talking. We've got a lot of local artists up here. I've got a local pottery, Beckler Pottery, that does a lot of cool looking birds that are out of clay and clay tiles that say love with Michigan on them. And that's part of our closing gift. And then kind of to introduce the flow to people, they're going to get one monthly real estate news email that has a little real estate news, a lot of local love, as we call it, with promoting local businesses. Our two, what we think are super cool monthly postcards with the flow, one art, one science. This art typically is promoting a local restaurant or local events that happen throughout the year. They'll get the events to the Z Crew events. Typically there's two, but sometimes we'll throw in some other things.
So two per month, just to be clear. So
two postcards.
Two postcards per month.
But the Z Crew events are just twice a year.
Got it. But you, as part of your flow plan, you send out 2 printed postcards per month.
Yep.
To these people. Yeah. In addition to the email newsletter. Okay, great. Keep going.
We started with 1 because the team thought 2 was going to be overkill. And I'm like, look, the system works. Got to follow the system. Right. So we got to go to 2. And we've had people take a snapshot of our St. Patrick's Day, and it's on her. She had a shrine. She was Irish and had a shrine. It said, your postcard's in the middle of my shrine for St. Patrick's Day. So it's kind of fun to get those texts or emails. But the last 2 things we wanted to, it was pretty funny. And then you used it as a mouse pad, Tracy, right?
I did. I used it. I used the one, it was, I think, summer concerts or something like that in your area. Yeah. And I thought in the front of it said, like, we're with the band or something. It was so art. It was amazing.
And then we wanted to remind them, we have access to realtors across the country. So if your friends or family or neighbors or you in a different state need a realtor, call us. We're your resource. Like we were your resource for local contractors. And then that's kind of the last bullet point was if you're here and you bought a house from us, we know all the local contractors, attorneys, surveyors, what you need, call us. So we wanted them to realize that just because we sold your house doesn't mean we're done. We want to stay in touch and call us. So we kind of wanted to open the door to those 2 avenues too, to make them realize. We just did a flow postcard, and Tracy, you should be getting it soon with the map of the United States and say, we know people or something like that. It was a clever thing that Joan came up with that tells them, call us if you need a referral, and we'll put you in touch with somebody who does business like we do in your state.
Got it. Right. Yeah, it's fantastic, Jon. And you answered a question I was about to ask you, which is, how do you remind people, how do you let people know that you can connect them with other terrific realtors, that you can connect them with local contractors? And so you're doing that in the postcards.
Yeah, well, this was the first postcard we did about, call it a referral postcard. I don't think we use the word referral in there at all.
Yeah.
Because Tracy has me trained so well. But we're just here to help. Yeah. And I think that was the first one we did. So we'll see how it goes. But just in, the ninja process, right? Do you have any other properties to sell in the buyer process or the seller process? And those questions come up, but we just wanted to make it more appealing that, hey, think of us for these ways too, not just to sell or buy a house in Michigan.
Yeah. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So John, I can guess the answer to my next question, and I'm going to ask it anyway. How has this been received by your team, by the clients? How do they react? What do they say?
Oh, the team loves it. And we get done with these events and we're just, spent because it's been a couple hours of just on stage meeting and talking and trying to get around the room to meet everybody and say hi to everybody. Because a lot of times they don't know me because they deal with Alicia or Raquel or Hayden. So I get a chance to meet all their clients because, with all this remote closing nowadays, a lot of times I don't get to meet every client my team works with. So it's been fun to meet those people and associate which house with them and the stories that I heard from Alicia about how we had to do this to get them in the home and multiple offer scenarios. So it's been really fun. And it's more, maybe for me, personally rewarding when I talk to people, and just what I shared earlier was, I know I get your invites every year, John, and we're going to come one of these years. So, it's like they really want to come, and sometimes they're 3 hours away and I don't expect them to drive 3 hours, but it's been great. And the team loves it. We look forward to that event every couple, twice a year. And, it just gives us another reason to reach out and to do some of those live forward, interviews without feeling like, what am I going to talk to them about? Well, you know what? The event's coming up in June. So call them and remind them about the event and give them a personal invite, or send them a video text with an invite if you can't get a hold on the phone. So it's giving us a lot more avenues to make those connections.
Absolutely. Okay, Tracy, a question for you, because you've been with Jon during this whole journey of the Z Crew. You've watched the evolution. you were there in the first conversations and the first brainstorming about it, right? And so give us your take on what you see happening here and how effective it is, and give us your perspective.
I think what's beautiful about the whole Z Crew is that what's the intent of the task here? The intent of the task is for the clients to still feel connected to you and that you feel connected to them. If they come to the event, that's icing on the cake. What it is it's that they're invited. They're part of this exclusive club that, like, people that can't come to your event, Jon, they're still reaching out to you. Hey, do you have a plumber? Do you have this? And we want to come next year. That's engagement. And that's connection, that you're keeping these people connected with you. And that's the intent of the task. And that, to me, what's so beautiful about the whole thing. Yes, it's awesome that people actually come, and that's amazing. And you get so many people coming, but all the people that can't, it's okay. They're still feeling very connected to you. And that was when Jon and I talked about this idea in the beginning, is where my brain went, going, it doesn't matter even if they come or not. We want them to come, not two people. That would be weird. But we want everyone to feel connected with it. And I think you could check, and don't stop. Please keep doing it, but you can check the box for the intent of it is what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Making people feel special, making them feel valued and taken care of. I love what you said, Tracy, that if they attend, that's icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake.
It just goes back to leaving the ninja installation, realizing I lost touch with so many people, and you get to be such good friends with them for 2-3 months, and sometimes 6 or months or a year. Yeah. If you're trying to sell their house and it's overpriced, but then it's like, how can I connect with them? And this really did that for us and gave us let's call it a comfortable avenue to reach out, or a reason to reach out and say, hey. And a lot of times they're like, you remember me? I'm like, of course I remember you. I'm glad you remembered me.
Yeah. The other brilliance of this is that you're taking many aspects that a lot of ninjas do, and you've packaged it, you've branded it, you've made it feel like a very, very special thing. A lot of ninjas do 2 postcards a month. A lot of ninjas do a monthly newsletter, but the fact that you've packaged this together and you've branded it, you've named it, it's fun, it's fresh, it's cool, it's exciting, it's special. It's I can feel, Jon, the whole Ninja Nation is just giving you a big collective high five right now. So
well, I just never thought I'd be on a podcast talking about this when we established this.
Right? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so let's we're going to switch gears. We'll switch gears now if it's okay with you guys. You and a team member, you just got back from a Ninja Now class. Ninja Now is a brand new offering that we have. It's a live 2-day course in person for people who have been through the 4-day installation. It's designed as a follow-up, a follow-on, a little bit of a reminder, a whole lot of new content. What are some takeaways that you had from that? And what are some things you want to start implementing in your business?
Great questions. And our brokers, the owners of our brokerage, Real Estate One, Dan and Stu Elsey, are big Ninja supporters and believe in your business there and in your team and your crew. And they brought, Chandra Hall here to Michigan to do a class. And it was on my task list, my quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 to complete one of these in Colorado. But, I'd love to go to Colorado, but since it's in Michigan, it was a little bit quicker for me. And decided to go, and Raquel on my team came also. I was blessed again to have Chandra Hall be my instructor and, for my installation too. And she just really knows her stuff and did an amazing job. So the takeaways for me, it's been 2 years. I kind of jumped in, as I always do, head first, and didn't hit the bottom. And in the installation, you have a green sheet to write stuff down. My orange sheet is orange in the Now class, or at least it was for us that day. It's orange everywhere.
It's orange everywhere.
Yes. So just real quick, those of you who've been through the installation, you know about the green sheet. That's where you write your ahas and actions. Ninja Now, it's same thing, but a new color. So it's orange if you go through Ninja Now. So that's just in case anyone's wondering about that. So keep going,
thanks,
Jon.
Eric.
Keep going.
Yeah. So, at first I'm like, this would be good. It'll probably just be a review. And after I sent my orange sheet to Tracy along with my weekly agenda, which we'll talk about in a minute, I think. But it's like, boy, you got a lot on your orange sheet. And to me, I said, it was a lot of little things that I could do to improve that process. So to be transparent with the listeners, I struggle with 5 live Ford contacts a week, and also time blocking, if you can believe that. Tracy, would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. Usually on our calls, we definitely touch on time blocking. Yeah.
There's one thing in my business plan this year that had time blocking on every single thing to improve upon. But nonetheless, it kind of got me recentered and made me realize again that we just need to follow the process. And I know we say the system works, TSW, and, my team has always been process focused, not results focused. And it was funny in class, somebody asked a question and our instructor said, no, follow the Ninja 9. And that was it. No questions. No, don't go off on this tangent, right? And I don't know about the listeners, but I love shiny objects. And, what's the new shiny thing? I'm distracted a bit. And it really made me realize that I don't need anything else shiny or new. I don't need what's the new hot thing in the real estate market. I just need to double down on the Ninja 9. And it kind of, I joke about Kenny Rogers and the gambler, where we don't count our money when we're sitting at the table. Well, my team is very adamant about not counting our commission when we go show a house or when we list a house. And a lot of times we don't figure that number out until we probably see the closing sheet to go over those numbers with our clients. But we've always been focused or process focused and not dollar or results focused. And that, I think, has been a big plus where our mindset's at. How can we get better at providing service to our people? How can I tweak my seller process or my buyer process, right? So that's kind of my big takeaway was I don't need to do anything else. I just got to tweak some of these things a little bit here and there to get better in those scenarios. And it'll just improve that relationship process we have and our overall, the service we deliver.
Absolutely. Just stick with the basics and the fundamentals, right?
Yeah. And then I think the last thing to answer that question, one of my biggest takeaways, I guess this is more of a takeaway on coaching. So I don't know if that's a question we have time for.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah. So it's talked about in Ninja Now, and I know it's talked about a little bit in the installation, but I was talking to Tracy one day about my weekly agenda. So it's this 2 or 3 page report that as a coaching client, I am requested, I guess, to
You're
fill out. Right?
Strongly encouraged.
Strongly encouraged.
To fill out my weekly agenda and send it to Tracy. And that was one of my reasons for being a coaching process. People are like, well, Jon, you've been in this business since 2013. Why do you need to coach? And I'm like, I just need somebody different to look at what we're doing to take us to the next level. And that weekly agenda, I mean, for the first time in my career, I feel like I'm on purpose and I'm not getting paid, Tracy, right, to say this about coaching.
No,
but
you are not.
With that weekly agenda and your coaching business plan event in November, I just have never felt more on purpose than just, this is a business, as you guys all know. We're so busy. We're so wrapped up. We're so going. We can't stop to think about what are we going to do to plan things. We're just do. And this has really slowed me down a bit to put that yearly plan in place, business plan, and review it every week and every month. And it's in front of me and talking to Tracy, like, where's your Q2 goals? How you doing? What do we need to change? What do we need to take away? What do we need to add? So that to me is the big benefit is I'm just way more on purpose. And I don't know how I did it before Ninja, but we did it. And now we're just doing it better, I think, and differently. And I honestly had more time to get away from the business than I did before. I looked at my calendar, Tracy, for time off this year, and it'll be probably one of the most, the biggest year where I've taken the most time off, yet still maintain the business. So it's kind of fun.
Jon,
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's just awesome, Jon. It's fantastic. You're running your business like a business, and it's become even more fun along the way.
Yeah.
And that's something I never thought about, like run it like a business. I'm a realtor. I'm buying and selling houses or helping people buy and sell houses. But what your coaching system does, it makes me, I'm the CEO of my business, right? I've got people that rely on me to lead them into, the future and make the right decisions. And together we're going to do those things together. So it's really been a win for me.
So Tracy, a lot of Ninja, a lot of what we love to do in Ninja is celebrate the before and after stories, the before and after pictures. So what comes up for you as the biggest change, the biggest evolution? What stands out for you in Jon's before and after?
This will be good. I can't wait to hear what you said.
Okay, so that's a great question, Eric. When Jon first came to me and we had our complimentary call, he was running an amazing business. I mean, really, really good numbers. But what he kept saying and kept coming back is saying, but I don't have a system. I don't have a system. I'm always scattered, always like it was not on purpose. So AKA when he said all those words, AKA I'm not doing this on purpose. I saw a light bulb moment at the end of last year when you said to me after we got done with business planning, you said, and you just said it a few minutes ago, after we got done with business planning, you said to me, this is the most on purpose I've ever felt in my business. And that to me was like, okay, we've got, like, he is so in it. He is so a ninja now. Like, you weren't a Nino. You weren't a ninja in name only. At that point, you were a ninja. And then for you saying that you have had more time off, you've had, like, you seem far less stressed. When I first met you, it was, you were very stressed all the time. And now when we have coaching calls, you're far more on purpose. You're far more calm. You're far more methodical. You have systems in place. So that's the transformation that I've seen. And I just know that the business is going to has even more growth on its way because you have more systems in place. Is it time to add another team member? Maybe, maybe not. Is it time to do this? Is it time to do that? Now we can start talking about even bigger and better things than what you're doing now. So you're far more on purpose. That's where I would go with that.
Yeah, right. I had one year where I had a business plan that was 50 pages that I picked up and did once and never looked at it. And that was more stressful than anything. And the planning you do with coaching, it really made me think about my business and look at the numbers and look at the quarter quadrants and what to do. So that's a huge plus.
And Jon, you were willing to do the work up front to get those systems in place, get the habits in place, and the payoff for you is immense now, right? I mean, it's a huge ROI on that investment of time and energy up front.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to be able to put the work in and show up, right? And those kind of things. But you definitely, you see the benefit if you can put the time in to get the systems down. You're not recreating the wheel every time. You don't have to worry about what's the next thing I have to do this. It's like, no, go back to the Ninja 9. Am I doing it? No. What am I not doing? Not making my forward calls. Okay, let's go back to time blocking. And I don't need to come up with the new social media, whatever. We know how we do it in our business. We got a social media plan and we're sticking to the plan.
Yep. Just stick to the plan.
We change it, right? We tweak it, but we don't try to always look for something new. We need to get really, really, really good at what we do in the basics from there. And then just, I guess Tracy and I were talking the other day in our session was double down on the Ninja 9. Don't go look for something different. Just double down.
Yeah.
Do more notes.
We know that works.
Real estate reviews. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish with this. You sent Tracy and I an image, a drawing, a graphic that you and your team have been putting together. I'm going to describe it, and then I'll have you, Jon, just tell us about what inspired this image and what it means to you. Our listeners should know that in Ninja, we know that there are 3 keys to success: mindset, skill set, action. So this image is an image of a house. And the way, and you have you have those 3 things. You have mindset, skill set, action on this image, and you have mindset down at the foundation of the house. You have relationships, actions related to relationships as the framing of the house, and then you have skill set, and you're saying there that the Ninja 9 is as the roof of the house. And so tell us what inspired this, and tell us how you think about it, what it means to you, Jon.
Yeah, great. These kind of things just come to me somehow, and I probably think too much about these things. But leaving the installation, page 7 of the book, the first thing we talked about were the 3 keys to success. And I started thinking, well, mindset to me in my morning routine is, if I don't start that morning routine out with my gratitudes, my affirmations, my reading, my exercise, my whole day's shot, right? Just personally for me, that's how it works. So I thought, what's the foundation of a house? I mean, that's the stuff. If you don't have a good foundation, you got nothing. Don't even bother worrying about what your framing or your roofing or your people inside are. You got to start with that. So to me, it hit home where that mindset's got to stay. It's a habit now, right? I've stacked those habits and I'm doing those things. And then I started thinking, well, skill set, that to me is kind of like the Ninja 9, where it's the skill set to build a house. So that's the framing and all that stuff. And then, in the end, the action is kind of the people. It's the interaction with the people and the relationships we build, which is why I should say why I was gravitated towards Ninja selling. I've been on other programs and this and that, and it just felt like I was back selling hotel rooms and conference space to people back in my early years of my life. So I figured this house is a great way to say the mindset's the foundation, skill set are the Ninja 9, the skills to build that house, and then the actions really are your interactions with your people in the house, outside of the house. And I just asked my wife, hey, here's my concept. Can you give me something that looks kind of cool? And she came up with that.
She did it. And she did it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's really great.
Tracy,
anything you want to share before we wrap up when we think about Jon and his team and his business?
Well, I thank you, Jon, so much for sharing all your wisdom. I mean, I think the world of you. But I hope what I'm hoping the listeners are getting out of this is just really like some inspiration, like the Z Crew, that it inspires them to really think about how they could do maybe something similar or an idea like this. Maybe you don't go as big as what Jon has done, but just creating like your own carousels within your people, and bringing your folks together and making sure that you have a plan as to how you're going to keep in contact with them after they close the property, so that you make sure that you're top of mind and all the value that you can give to them. So I really, really hope that this inspires others.
Yes, Tracy, well said.
Especially if your last name starts with a Z, because I didn't copyright it. So if you got a Z in your last name that starts, you can take the Z Crew and run with it.
Crew. Come up with your own logo, but you can use the name.
No copyright infringement on my part. I'm not going after that.
Yeah. Jon, we can't thank you enough. So many takeaways, so many insights. And you just opened up everything and showed your playbook on how to do this. You are an incredible ninja, incredible relationship builder, incredible creator of a community. what I really appreciate it's innovative and straightforward. It's innovative and anyone could do it. And it's so grounded in Ninja.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Most of all, it's fun. It is fun. It was sure fun having you here today, Jon.
Well, I can't thank you. And Tracy, this has been fun. I can't wait to do it again next week and the week after. Maybe the week after, right? Is it like a series?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Sure. Well, we'll start the Z Crew series.
Let's do it.
There we go. Yeah. We can all get t-shirts.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. I really appreciate you reaching out. Yeah, I'm here if anybody, as Tracy will tell you, we have the abundance mindset. So if you need something, give us a call, reach out to us. We're happy to help.
Thank you for that offer. So everyone, again, it's been Jon Zickert, Jon and Zickert, Zickert. Send him a thank you for these takeaways that you got from Jon today. Tracy, thank you for the encouragement to have Jon. I think we now all get it on why you were so adamant. It totally makes sense. And Tracy, thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for engaging. We so appreciate it. And we sure look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Take care.